It's not a news that you didn't have much control over where you're going to be born, what kind of parents you're going to have, what kind of family, what kind of educational opportunities, what kind of looks, how smart you're going to be, what country, what part of that country, what time. And even if you set aside the time and your birthplace and your birth conditions, there isn't much control, so to speak, in your life. For example, you might think that you choose your friends, but do you really? You will choose 5 people out of those 50 people that were studying in the same class as yours. You're never going to meet someone from a different school unless you encounter them in some other way. Same goes for your life partner. And I can weave different areas of your life through the same thread. And what about things like if you had to take care of your younger siblings, if you had to earn for your family, if you had a parent who was supportive and responsive? You might be working hard for 5 years straight, let's say, to achieve something that someone was born with. Your colleague goes out to pursue masters, but you can't do that even though you wanted that ever since you were a child because you have responsibilities. You wanted to really study and get the scholarship because otherwise you would not be able to afford the fees. But someone from your class who was way smarter than you got the scholarship even though they didn't need it. Now what are you gonna do? Because, well, you need that education because that's the only way for you to get a job, but you don't have what it takes to get that scholarship, and now your education is in question. You want to dress up in a certain way, but your body type doesn't allow you to do so. You are given all sorts of responsibilities, but you haven't been given the heart that is required to go through this pile of responsibilities, this mountain of responsibilities. And your plants die. And the only thing you need to feel good about your day and your life is just a little bit of sunlight, but your room doesn't have that. And someone who keeps their balconies closed have that sunlight available to them anytime they need it. All I'm saying is, yes, life is truly very unfair, and I'm not gonna pretend that it's not. And if you are someone who feels that life is unfair, it's likely that you're on the receiving end of this bad stuff that life is throwing at you, because if you were on the good side, you wouldn't be complaining. So now what do we do about it? It's not like I can change where I was born. I cannot change my parents. I cannot change my friends because, well, they're my friends. And I cannot, in a way, change my life. Can I? My approach to deal with this feeling is a bit all over the place. So I believe there are things that you can change, and then there are things that you cannot change. Now, in the things that you cannot change comes past regrets, traumas, and things that have already happened. For example, I cannot change the fact that I did not get the scholarship that I thought I would get all my life, and I had to pay my tuition fees in college. And to this day, that is one of my biggest regrets. I cannot change that fact. I can feel better about it. I can feel that, yeah, okay, that is done. Now I'm in a way better place. But I cannot change the fact that I didn't get the scholarship. That's something I'll have to accept. That's something I'll have to come to a closure with, a compromise with. I might have to negotiate with that feeling. Then comes things that I can change. My career, for example. I can change the way I dress. I can change my health. I'll have to be constantly working towards it, but I can change that. I can even, in a way, change the way I look. I can change the way I feel on a day-to-day basis. I can solve my problems by myself by asking the right questions and getting the right answers, and I can grow into a better person every day. If we go by statistics and probability, it is very unlikely that one day I'll be able to fly a helicopter by myself. And that is something I'll have to accept. But if I tell you that please write down anything and everything that you want, no matter how big or how small, what are you going to write about? Let's say you wrote things super big, like you want a big fat wedding, you want a big home and lots of cars, and let's say it's a lot about money, then it's about looks, and it's about how smart you are and things like that. What exactly are you trying to achieve by having those things? Is it a state of being, or is it a state of feeling something? Why do we want anything? Why do we want to possess anything? Why do we want to be anything? It's majority about, okay, growth is a thing and being good and doing good is a thing. But why do we want to do all those things? I think it has a lot to do with what we want to feel here. And I think all we want to feel is good. Now, this good can be anything that you want to feel. You might want to be, you might want to feel happy, at peace, rich. You might want to feel pretty. You might want to feel worthy. You might want to feel respectful and respected. Anything. But basically, all you want is you want to feel good. And if that's the case, what's stopping you from feeling that right now? Why don't you feel that first and then you do things? So what I'm trying to say is, why are we trying to achieve this good feeling by reaching somewhere, or by achieving something, or by owning something? Why aren't we feeling this good feeling all the time and then doing whatever it is that we want to do because we are feeling this good feeling? And I do understand this will require for you to redirect your good feeling towards a good feeling. As in, if you want to feel rich, if your good feeling is rich, why don't you define your rich? Why don't you try to understand why do you want to be rich? And why being rich, why this feeling of being rich makes you happy? Is it money that you're chasing, or is it that safety and security? And is it because you think that by being rich you can achieve your actual good feeling, which is happiness? Now, I'm not saying that it's a piece of cake or you should be aiming to do it all the time. I complain time to time about things that I don't have, that I never had, and I know I will never have. And I cry, and then I be angry and upset for a day maybe. And then I tell myself why I don't need to feel that way. One of the reasons being, who knows? What if I had the opportunity to choose a life for myself and I chose this one? And who knows, all those things that I missed out on has led me where I am, who I am, who's happy and at peace. And who knows that by having those things, I would have wanted different things. Because when have you ever said, this is good, I'm good, I don't want anything else? Even if you did, it lasted for what? An hour? A day? A month maybe? Then you wanted different things. So what makes you think there is an end? What makes you think there is an answer to this question of, okay, so what is a perfect life? What if we are all on the same page? What if no one on this planet thinks that life is fair to them? What if we are all looking out from our windows and into someone else's homes and we are assuming that they're happier than us? It might all just be a delusion. So here's how I would put it. You do anything and everything that you could do and that you would do today to make yourself a little better life, to make yourself the life that you think you would like, a kind of life that is a little bit fairer than your current one. It might be as simple as brushing my teeth, or doing my skincare, or making myself a nice cup of coffee, or changing my job, or working super hard so that I can afford that master's education that I always wanted. Yes, it is true that I have no say in certain things and I can never have those things even though I want them so bad. But what is in my control is how I feel about them and how I deal with that emotion and those feelings. And I don't want to suffer. That is my decision. Even if life is unfair, I refuse to comply with life's demand for me to suffer. I refuse to suffer. I'm gonna wake up every day a little positive, a little hopeful, a little happier, and I wanna spend my day at peace because that is my good feeling, that is my happy feeling. And that's how I want my entire life to be. I don't care what life has in store for me. What I know is I choose what to feel. I choose how I spend this time.